You know what is funny about arrogant people? They never think they are arrogant. They just think they are the only smart one in a room full of slow people. And for a long time, you probably let them get away with it, nodded your head, smiled at the right time, walked away feeling small, like something important got taken from you, and you do not even know exactly when it happened. That stops today. Because what nobody tells you about arrogant people is this: they are not actually confident. They are terrified. And the way they talk to you, the way they look at you, the way they dismiss you, like you are not even worth a full sentence, that is not strength. That is someone building a wall around a weakness they do not want you to see. And once you understand that, everything changes, because you stop trying to fight the wall. You just walk straight through it. I am going to give you exactly what to say, word for word, situation by situation, and I promise you, by the time this is done, you will never freeze up in front of an arrogant person again. But first, let me tell you something that took me a long time to figure out. Arrogant people are running a very specific game, and the rules of the game are simple. They go first. They go loud, they act certain, and then they wait for you to shrink. Because the moment you shrink, they win. Not just the argument. They win something bigger. They confirm the story they are telling themselves, that they are above you, that they are simply better, that you already know it too. And every time you go quiet, every time you look away first, every time you laugh nervously and let it pass, you hand them exactly the confirmation they were looking for. You did not lose because they were smarter. You lost because you were playing a game you did not even know you were in. So let us change the game completely. 1. Is that your final answer? When someone says something arrogant, something dismissive, something designed to make you look small, every single person in that room is watching to see what you do next. Most people rush, they defend, they explain, they go straight into panic mode, trying to prove the arrogant person wrong before anyone around them decides the arrogant person might be right. Do not do that. Instead, you look at them, calm face, small pause, and you say, "Is that your final answer?" That is it. Now watch what happens. Because that question does something almost unfair to them. It reframes the whole moment. Suddenly they are not the judge anymore. They are the contestant. And everyone in the room just became the audience watching them decide whether to double down on something that now sounds a lot smaller than it did 30 seconds ago. I used this once with a manager who had a habit of shooting down ideas in meetings before anyone could even finish explaining them. He cut me off mid-sentence, waved his hand like he was swatting a fly, and said something dismissive about the direction I was going. I stopped, looked at him, said, "Is that your final answer?" The room went quiet. Someone actually laughed, not at me, at him, because suddenly everyone could see what was happening. He was performing. And I had just pointed at the performance in front of everyone without saying a single unkind word. He backtracked within 10 seconds, started saying maybe there was something worth exploring. Maybe we should hear it out. I went back to my idea. Nobody interrupted me again. That question works because it is playful, but it carries weight. It tells the person, I am not rattled. I am not defending. I am just giving you one chance to reconsider before this becomes the thing everyone remembers about today. Most of them reconsider. 2. You seem very invested in this. This one is quiet, almost gentle, and that is exactly what makes it devastating. Arrogant people present themselves as calm, rational, above it all. They want you to look emotional while they look logical. They want you reactive while they look steady. That gap between your reaction and their composure is where their power lives. This sentence collapses that gap completely. When someone is pushing hard, being dismissive, talking over you, steering every conversation back to how right they are and how wrong you are, you pause. You look at them, and you say, almost warmly, you seem very invested in this. Now, the spotlight has moved, because suddenly the question in the room is not whether you are right or wrong. The question is why this person cares so much, why they are pushing this hard. What is underneath all of this certainty? And that is a question they have no clean answer for. I had a colleague once who did this thing where anytime I spoke in a group setting, she would find a way to add something that quietly undermined whatever I had just said, not loud enough to be called out, just enough to land. She had done it so many times I had started second-guessing myself before I even opened my mouth. One afternoon she did it again, and I turned to her and said, very calmly, very warmly, "You seem really invested in this topic." She blinked, said something like, "I just think it is important to get it right." I nodded slowly and said sure, and kept going. But something had shifted, because now, instead of me being on the back foot, she was explaining herself, to me, in front of everyone. She was much quieter in those meetings after that day. 3. I will keep that in mind. Stick with me here, because this one looks too simple. It looks like giving up. It looks like you are just rolling over and letting them win. It is the opposite. When someone delivers an arrogant comment, especially the kind wrapped up as advice, as concern, as them just trying to help you, the trap is always the same. They want you to argue, they want to debate. They want to spend the next 10 minutes defending their position while you try to dismantle it and end up looking like the difficult one. You do not give them the debate. You look at them, completely unbothered, and you say, "I will keep that in mind." Then you move on, fully, like it was a weather report, like someone just told you it might rain later and you said, "Okay, thanks," and kept walking. Here is what you just did. You received the comment without letting it land. You acknowledged it without validating it. You closed the door on the argument they were waiting to have. And you did it so smoothly that there is nothing they can grab onto. There is no counter move to this. None. Because you did not push back, so there is nothing to push against. You did not agree, so there is nothing to celebrate. You just moved on. An arrogant person who cannot get a reaction from you will try once more, maybe twice. After that, they stop. Because every arrogant comment is an investment. They are spending social energy. They need a return on that investment. If the return is nothing, just you, calm, already 3 sentences ahead in the conversation, they stop investing. You became a bad investment. There is no better thing to be. 4. That is an interesting way to see it. I want you to notice what this sentence does not say. It does not say you are right. It does not say you are wrong. It does not say I agree. It does not say I disagree. It does not say your point is good. It does not say your point is bad. All it says is, that is one way a person could see this thing, which is true. It is a way. It is just not the only way. And it is not necessarily your way. And now that is sitting in the air between you and everyone else can feel it. Arrogant people make statements like they are laws, like there is only one correct reading of the situation, and they happen to hold it, and you are welcome to come around to their view whenever you are ready. They speak in closed sentences, full stops everywhere. This sentence opens a window in a room they thought they had sealed shut. You are not challenging them directly. You are not picking a fight. You are simply observing with a straight face and a calm voice that this is a perspective, one perspective, among other perspectives that also exist and are also valid. I sat across from someone at a dinner once, a friend of a friend, who spent the first 20 minutes explaining why my entire career path was the wrong one. Not cruelly, helpfully. With the warm confidence of someone who has never once been told they might not know everything about everything. After the 4th unsolicited opinion, I looked at him and said, "That is an interesting way to see it." He paused, said, "Well, I have seen a lot of people go down that road." I said, "I am sure you have," and kept eating. He moved on to someone else. For the rest of the evening, he was noticeably more careful around me, because he could not get a clean read. He did not know if I was agreeing or disagreeing, and that uncertainty made me someone he did not want to test again. Uncertainty is power. Hand it out generously. 5. Are you done? This is the one you save. This is not for every situation. This is for the person who has gone too far, too long, in front of too many people. The one who has been building and who has decided today, of all days, that you are the one they are going to make an example of. You let them finish. You do not interrupt. You do not make faces. You let the whole thing land. And then, in the silence right after, before anyone else says a word, you look at them, and you say, "Are you done?" Not aggressive, not heated, like you are asking if someone has finished reading a menu, like you have been patiently waiting and you would like to know if you may now proceed. The temperature in the room will drop. You will feel it. Because those 2 words reframe everything that just happened. All of that energy, all of that performance, all of that carefully built tower of words, you just responded to the whole thing like it was a minor inconvenience you were politely waiting out. Which means they did not get to you. Which means all of that effort produced nothing. Which means they just spent all of that social energy and got back a 2-word question delivered like they were slightly boring. There is no recovery from that, not in public, not in the moment. I will not tell you a story for this one, because if you have sat through someone going on and on at you in front of people who were watching to see if you would crack, you already know exactly what I mean. You already felt the moment when you wished you had something to say and did not have it. Now you have it. 2 words. Quiet voice. Steady eyes. Are you done? Here is the thing that runs underneath all 5 of these. It is not really about what you say. Every word, every pause, every question only works because of the thing happening underneath it, the absolute, unshakable, bone-deep belief that you do not have to earn the right to be spoken to with basic decency. That sounds simple, but most people who get crushed by arrogant people are not lacking the words. They are lacking the belief. They are secretly, somewhere under the surface, half convinced that the arrogant person might be right, that maybe they do not quite belong, that maybe they should just listen a little more and speak a little less. And arrogant people can feel that half-belief from across the room. It is the signal they search for. It is what tells them the door is open. The moment the belief actually changes, not just covers itself with better responses, the signal disappears. And arrogant people, without that signal, genuinely do not know what to do with you. They expected a door and found a wall. Not a hostile wall, not an aggressive wall, just a very settled, very grounded, very unbothered wall. Here is what that belief looks like on the outside, in practice. It is the way you do not rush to fill silence when someone tries to pressure you. It is the way you ask a direct question without wrapping it in 5 apologies. It is the way you finish your sentence even when someone tried to cut you off. It is the way you walk back into a conversation that someone tried to shut you out of, without making it a scene, without raising your voice, just as a natural continuation of something you were always going to say. It is the way your face stays, even when someone expected to see it crack. None of this is performance. Performance is readable. Arrogant people are usually quite good at reading performance because they use it themselves constantly. What they cannot read is real. What they cannot move is grounded. And what they cannot rattle is someone who actually decided, not just hoped, that their presence in a room does not require anyone else's permission to be valid. That is the decision underneath all of this. Not a script, a decision. And the beautiful thing about a real decision is that it does not expire. It does not need to be remade every morning. It does not crumble when someone tries to test it, because it is not sitting on the surface, waiting to be knocked off. It is in the floor, under everything, just there. Arrogant people spend their whole lives building height so other people have to look up. You are not interested in the height. You are interested in the ground. And nobody who is standing on solid ground can be made to feel small by someone who is just standing on a very tall pile of very fragile things. Now go use this. And the next time you walk into a room and feel someone trying to make you feel like you are less, remember that the only people who work that hard to make others feel small are people who are secretly very afraid of what happens. When you finally stand up straight, they saw something in you worth trying to shrink. That says everything about them. And it says everything about you too.